For the last 12 hours, the leader of the National Unity Platform, Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi, has been hospitalized at Samia Hospital. But we are here to speak to the legal advisor to National Unity Platform, the party he leads, to understand in which state he is right now, because we know by now that he was coming from the home of Councillor George Musi when that unfortunate incident happened in Bulindo. But I know he was there at the hospital to see firsthand and to understand what really goes on, what the doctors are saying. For now, good morning to you, Council.
Good morning, Stephen. Good morning, NTV.
For now, the world knows that Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi was coming from your home. You were at the hospital and you were throughout the night. Just brief us in which state he is for now.
We left the hospital early this morning and the doctors had administered treatment. They carried out tests. He was stable and out of danger. From what they told us, he has fragments in his leg which have to be taken out through a surgery, which is going to take place today. Other tests are going to be carried out, of course, for purposes of ensuring that he's absolutely out of danger.
You are a human rights lawyer from PACE Advocates, and you give legal counsel to NUP and party president. I want to understand from you what the party is saying for now, what are the lawyers saying for now, following what happened yesterday.
Of course, this is not an isolated incident, and what we are seeing from security agencies is not an isolated incident. It has happened several times. Abraham Tumusime, a young student, lost an arm. We saw a gentleman called Musingus in Hoima when the party was carrying out activities. He has a damaged leg, permanent damaged leg, up to now, as a result of a tear gas canister and a rubber bullet which hit his leg. So we've seen the continued use of this disproportionate force to disperse political opponents. Secondly, the impunity that if it's out of line, what has police done about it? You saw from that shabby statement that was released by police, full of several falsehoods. We are only lucky that now we have footage. Otherwise, it would have been our word against theirs, because what we were there and we saw what happened, there were even no crowds when they were dispersing. They had arrested so many people who are still under arrest. They beat up several people. They confiscated some borders. But this was the only exit route. He was going back home, and police itself had blocked, and because we were dispersing crowds. In fact, him getting out of the car was to try to engage one of the officers who seemed to be commanding. So for them to come out with a shabby statement full of lies that he was in a procession, that he stumbled, it shows that they're not interested in finding out if any of their men fell out of line.
You know, the statement, but also some accounts show that there was a scuffle, there was a confrontation, and so when there is a confrontation, you never know what the magnitude of the confrontation could have really injured the other side, the opposite side. So maybe you can paint for us a picture what exactly happened, which kind of confrontation was this like?
There was absolutely no confrontation. The party president had come for a private visit, not a Thanksgiving like police is saying, which had ended very well, and he was on his way back home. And where he was blocked from by police, it's the only exit road. In fact, I even wonder what they expected. As it happens, every time people hear that it's a neighborhood, indeed there's some enthusiastic people who are gathered. And as it always happens, he passes by, he waves, he goes away. It wasn't a rally, it wasn't a gathering, an organized gathering, and it hadn't blocked any form of traffic. So the best thing that police would have done would have been to manage to ensure that he goes if they didn't want to, because he hadn't blocked anyway. In any case, police had blocked him, so police had caused a confrontation. So they blocked him and they started dispersing the crowd before he even reached.
You know, Council, we've seen some ugly incidents before, like 2018, we saw that the incident that led also to the death of the driver to Bobi Wine, Yasin Kauma. We also saw one in 2020 in Luka. Would you say that this was an accidental incident, or it was a targeted one, a direct attack on the person of Bobi Wine?
clearly, even from the images, even from me as a person who witnessed, I know that was a targeted incident, because if you are lobbing tear gas, you lob it to crowds. Where he was clearly, he had no crowd. How do you throw tear gas canister to a single person, or 2 or 3 or 5 people? How do you disperse 5 people with tear gas? So where he was clearly, and the canister was clearly directed at him, because they had already dispersed the people. They had already beat up and arrested some people who were closer to him. So even if they wanted to apprehend him, they could do so without effort. So clearly the projectile that was lobbed at him was targeted and intended.
And there are some videos I watched last night of some people, the police at least apprehending some people who were putting on a red belly and also red attire. At this particular moment, are you able to establish with the number of those who were arrested, but also those who could have been injured around that around that incident?
The injuries we don't know yet, because people were dispersed. We know that 4 people we were able to confirm as per last night. 4 people had been apprehended. We are yet to ascertain by this morning whether there are any others. Our teams are going to Chira Police Division to ascertain, as we tried also to account for the others who were there. And we know that about 3 motorbikes were also confiscated from the riders.
Last week I saw from the party offices there was a press conference where the party leader Robert Kyagulanyi was launching the mobilization drive, where he also gave out some vehicles to assist in the mobilization, and we are also entering into a political season, a heavy political season. So how does this injuries and also the time he's going to be hospitalized, how does it also affect his mobilization tours, which I know there was a plan to revive these Kunga mobilization tours?
Of course it grossly affects, and like I mentioned earlier, because it's not an isolated incident, we don't even know how even them, the tours are going to take place, how the police is going to react, because we're dealing with security agencies who see themselves as an armed wing of the ruling party, who see legitimate and lawful political parties, those which are in opposition, as enemies of government, enemies of the state, and they react to them and treat them as such. So that's the environment that we've been working in. That's the environment we saw. Remember when the last time when he was in Masaka, a similar incident happened, only that he wasn't that affected. A tear gas canister was lobbed at him directly in the car. So even with all these tours, we don't even know how they are going to react. So the issue is that for Ugandans to appreciate and demand that security agencies should in the very least respect the law.
You know, this also comes at a time when we know that Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi, of course, he got with legal advice from you and Council Katana. When you appeared before the Human Rights Commission, you walked out with him, and he vowed never to return to that commission. And we would expect that once instances like this happen, some of the agencies, organizations would be going to maybe to petition if there is actually infringement of human rights. But these are organizations that you also walked out and vowed never to return. Doesn't this contradict the push for human rights and his justice for him?
The problem we had with the Human Rights Commission that we have actually was, one, the speedy determination of disputes. The Human Rights Commission is supposed to work faster than courts, because it's a specialized tribunal which is supposed to dispose of these cases. And it's not even about Kyagulanyi's case alone. All the other cases which are pending before it. How does someone take a complaint? Dr. Besige told us that he took a complaint in 2001. It's still not yet determined. How do you take 2, 3, 4, 10 years without determining a complaint, later on hearing? So the intention was, of course I know that sometimes they are affected by finances, but then why shouldn't they take the debate there? But the public cannot even help them in that demand, because the leadership of the commission has increasingly been seen as being complicit to the violations through their actions, through their statements. We took there the case of missing persons. They told us to bring more details. After that, we had the chairperson on the media saying this is G1 without even having the facts of giving us a report. So it was meant to shine a light on the manner in which they conduct their business, and sometimes and the leadership, the bias of the chairperson.
All right, we want to go back to Sue, but finally, I've seen also on social media some even key political leaders in our country here saying that this Bobi Wine is just playing political gimmicks, and I guess you've also seen some of them on social media. So what would you tell such people at the time when he's still in hospital, but also your final words to the viewers of Morning at 10 TV?
Of course, the biggest problem we have in Uganda is people being so polarized that if we don't have a common central theme, that if a violation is bad, irrespective of who has done it. If he's playing gimmicks, is he playing them in compliance with police or in collusion with police? Did he demand that police join him in those gimmicks? So we're just calling on agencies to respect the law. Police should do the bare minimum of respecting the law.
Thank you so much, Counsel George Musi. Of course, he's the legal advisor to National Unity Platform, but also he was at the hospital throughout the night where Bobi Wine is being hospitalized. For now, I have to hand you back to Priscilla Naroga and Chris Kyagulanyi. We have guests in the studio. Of course, there will be